We are the dawn.
Hey everyone, Mikey here, and welcome to another video where today I am joined by my very good friend, my tanking mentor, my fleet boss, and a fellow content creator, Pirate Scum Gaming, otherwise known as JB.
Hello, my lovelies. Pirate Scum Gaming here, and it is good. I am glad to be here.
As am I. Well, in the news today is something we've been expecting for a while, and that was the announcement of the Legendary Starfleet Captain's Bundle. So like the other bundles that we have had before for the Klingons, Jem'Hadar, Romulans, it's going to be an instant level 65 boost. So looking at everything you get, you know, the 65 boost is going to be good for people who just want to get to the end as quickly as they can and not grind through some of those more annoying missions. But the creme de la resistance of this is going to be the legendary Kalen Intel Multi-Mission Explorer, the Legendary Vesta, which we've been waiting for a very long time. So JB, looking at this, what are your first thoughts?
Well, first off, I have to say I absolutely love the design of the ship. It is absolutely gorgeous. They introduced this ship to us at Mission Chicago, and I was lucky enough to be in attendance when this ship was initially unveiled. It was unveiled to great applause and great anticipation. This is a very good ship. I think it's a very good ship for the pack for beginners who are looking to get their first major purchase and their first major T6 starship. It's 4-2, so it's definitely going to be a very interesting do-sci ship. Do you like the trait? Nah, we'll get to that later. The seating it's okay. We may be able to get some good performance out of this at the high-end level. We won't really know until we actually get this ship, arm it up, and take it into some high-end runs to be able to see what it can do. But for newer players, I think this is going to be a good purchase and a wise purchase.
I agree. It's a good ship. It's going to be solid. It's definitely not going to break any records, but it does give you some flexibility, especially as you mentioned, doing like a do-sci build. Yeah, the double intel's a little annoying. I think it would have been better being an Intel Temp, or maybe even Intel Miracle Worker, but hey, we can't always get everything we want. And we all need to remember, not every single ship is going to become meta. Not everything is going to be designed for the high end. This pack as a whole, when I looked at everything, to me this is being aimed at newer players and more casual players.
And I tend to agree with you there, Mikey. No, it's not going to, smash any of the high-end DPS records. I know there's some people that are going to try because that's, what they do. I'm sure they will get some really good numbers out of it. But record-breaking, no. This is definitely a ship for players who are, they're not all into the whole DPS thing. They just want to have a good ship, fly around, have fun, play the story missions, that kind of thing. I think this is a great ship for that. I mean, when I get this ship, when it comes out, yes, I am gonna see what kind of numbers I can get out of it because I was taught by the best. I was taught by Augie, so I think I should be able to get something decent out of it. But like you said, record breaking, no, not a chance.
Yeah, and you've been doing exceptionally well with surgical strike builds as of late, so this is right up your alley.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love surgical strikes, and I mean, yes, I think this would have been a lot better as a Intel temp ship for cooldown purposes. But I think the way they're trying to build this ship, this is a Starfleet intelligence vessel, so I think that's why they want the full Intel package on it.
Yes.
And With being 4.2, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get the most out of it because it's more science heavy. But the science is pretty powerful as it is in the current state of the game. So anything's really possible with it. Given the right build.
Yeah, you're very right about that. And personally, I do prefer 4.2s, mainly just because of that annoying restriction how you can only put 2 Omnis in the back. So you're not gonna run into that issue with this.
Technically 3, but the other thing is not a traditional Omni in the traditional sense of the word.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, the kinetic cutting beam, it's not affected by anything, so that's why it's kind of annoying. But you are right, you can put 3 technically.
Yeah, it's an Omni, air quotes, swish, 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 swish. It's technically an Omni, but it's not because it's not affected by any fire modes. It just does what it does.
Exactly. So let's take a quick look at what else you get in the pack before we take a deeper dive into the ship. So basically, you're going to get 1,000,000 energy credits, which, these days, in all honesty, is not a lot with how the inflation has been in the game the past 2 years. 1,000,000 expertise, not a huge deal. That's easy to grind.
Oh, yeah.
250,000 reputation dilithium vouchers. Now, again,
that can come in handy.
Yes, again, this is an item that for veteran players is not going to be useful at all. And especially with the recent changes to the reputation system at tier 5, instead of getting the dill ore, you're getting the vouchers instead. But for a brand new player or a player who hasn't grinded their reputations to tier 5, this is actually very beneficial. Because the reputation gear, we all know there's a lot of good gear in there. There's a lot that is meta on the high end and that is useful on every builds. So having these reputation vouchers, to me, for a newer player is excellent.
Yes, and for some veteran players too, because for a veteran player who's looking to set up a torp boat for the first time, you can use those reputation dilithium vouchers to get you the mines if you don't already have them.
And then you also get 5 specialization qualifications. Handy to have. They're easy to obtain on the exchange normally, but it's a good item to have.
And for a newer player on a budget who doesn't have a lot of EC to, drop on the, buying stuff off the exchange, this is going to come in handy.
Exactly. Like some upgrades, not big deal, nothing to sneeze at. Some extra inventory and bank slots. Again, that's always beneficial to players of any level. More so for newer players who aren't lifetime or who can't afford the lifetime, or for people who do not live in the US and cannot afford the exorbitant exchange rates that they charge. True. So, and I'm one of those. Bridge officer slots, you get 6, which makes sense because you get 6 holo buffs with this, so that's always handy. And 2 extra starship slots. Again, that's always handy for players of all levels. Unless you like people like Augie who have already maxed it out, but not all of us are like that. Now we get to the contentious issue that I've already seen it. Yeah. I've already seen it on Twitter, and I've already seen it in a few of the Discords I am in. And
Same here.
Now, I do agree with what people are saying. However, I'm not necessarily agreeing with how they are saying it, but that's another matter for another time. And that is the special EV suit. Yes, I agree. This is one of the best looking EV suits in the game, and I do wish it was account-wide. This is not a performance EV suit. The meta EV suit is the one from the Discovery reputation, or you also have the Solanae ones, which you get from a mission. So from a performance point of view, it doesn't, to me, that doesn't matter that this is an account-wide. For Barbie purposes, yeah, that is upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool looking EV suit. If you've done the incredibly creepy episode Tenebra's Torque Run, that that's a good Halloween one, man. Not, but there's a good one to do on a Halloween night sitting in a dark room. But I digress. That EV suit, it's a good looking EV suit, I mean, but yeah, making it just bound to whatever character you give this bundle to, that's causing a bit of chafing all around. It would be nice if it was account reclaimable, but we're just content creators. We have absolutely no control over Cryptic's decision making, so we really can't harshly judge it too much. This is something that Cryptic did. We have no control over it. Yes, we would like to see it account unlock, but I'm sure they have their reason for making it character. That's a Cryptic thing. As content creators, we have no control over this. So, throwing shade at us because we're talking about it doesn't. We don't have no control over that.
Exactly. We're just giving our opinions, and everyone is entitled to their opinion. So let's just keep that in mind and keep things civil. Remember, the devs are people too. Period.
Yeah, they're only human. They can only do so much, and there's decision making that we are not privy to. We have absolutely no insight into their thinking on this. This is their thing. So I mean, yes, it's a cool EV suit. Yes, I am definitely I'm throwing out one of my buffs and leaving it there. Do I like the fact that it's character bound? No. But like we said, it's an opinion. Yeah. Everyone has one.
And so it comes to now we get a whole whack of holo buffs. A couple of them we haven't seen in game yet. So we get a Catherine Janeway, a Julian Bashir, Harry Kim, Nog, Tom Paris, and Tuvok. I personally don't really care about holobuffs, but that's just me. Yes, Bashir, we do know that he has the Warfare Specialist trait, so it is kind of useful, especially for feds who can't get more than the 2 TAC SROs. So it is a nice alternative if you have a second science seat on a ship to use him in conjunction with the hierarchy officer.
And also for those players who don't have access to a tier 5 colony yet and can't get a hold of the Kentari buffs, that is a very good. The Julian Bashir Holo Bridge Officer is a very good alternative.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that maybe because we haven't seen, Janeway or Tuvok yet, hopefully they might surprise us and they might have a useful trait as well. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, because this isn't the mirror Janeway one that we just got. This is the actual Catherine Janeway, standard timeline. Same thing with. We don't know which Julian Bashir this is. We don't know if this is going to be modern Julian Bashir or an older Julian Bashir. We really can't tell. Mm-hmm. And these buffs could be very good, especially the Tuvok, because he was a tactical officer on Voyager. So you're kind of thinking that he'd have some really good stats. We don't have those stats yet. The devs haven't released those stats, so we can't judge these Holo Bridge officers good or bad yet until we actually physically see what kind of traits they have.
And one good thing about it is they're all going to be pre-promoted to commander rank, which is annoying for Harry, so I want to know who decided that.
Yeah, who decided? Who died and made Harry Kim captain? He's ensign.
Yeah, he's Captain Ensign.
So I'm pretty sure paperwork got screwed up somewhere, and I'm going to have to open a formal inquest on this.
Yeah,
because Harry Kim. Yeah, no, we don't do Captain Kim. We do. He's forever ensign, and we're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, and then they all come trained in all basic abilities. So basically, that means none of the abilities that come from lockboxes they will have. So that's actually quite handy to have because we've all been there where you're redoing a build and you realize, oh, you're missing a skill, and then you have to go down to the skill trainer or pay an inflated price to get the copy off the exchange. So that is handy, especially again for your newer players or your middle, low to mid-end players. This is actually extremely beneficial. And then that brings us to the new weapons.
These new weapons are just I'm just drooling over these things.
I'll admit, I do like how these look, especially compared to the normal fleet versions, which these are based upon. They're okay in my opinion. but that's just me. I prefer, the aesthetic of the Discovery rifles or the Mako rifle. That's just the ones I like the most. But these are good. I will say the designers did a good job with them. The texturing and all that does look good. And they're supposed to have new fancy visuals, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm more of a, how should I say, weapon enthusiast to keep it PG. I'm excited for these because I'm excited for any weapon that you can put a couple of dozen holes in the enemy with.
Yep.
And these look like they're going to get the job done in spades. So I'm eager to get my hands on these and actually, go into a Bug Hunt Elite with it, or
yeah, it'll be interesting to give them a good testing and to put them through their paces. I think that they're going to surprise some people. And I actually forgot that you actually get a whole whack of Mark 14 purple gear for you, like for your captain, as well as for your ship, including all the basic kit modules. And depending on which career path you take, there's several really good ones for each career.
Oh, absolutely.
So basically, when you open up this pack and equip everything onto this brand new ship that is sexy as hell, right out of the gate, pretty much a player with any skill level will now be able to handle normal content with ease and will be able to handle advanced content fairly easy as well.
Absolutely.
So when I'm looking at this pack, that's, I'm looking at it from that perspective of a newer player or a player who only spends money once in a blue moon. This is going to be a good pickup and a good investment for those types of players.
Absolutely.
So now we're getting to the meat and potatoes, the beautiful ship.
And this ship is absolutely gorgeous. The Intel skin that it comes with is just absolutely brilliant. I hope that once we unlock this particular skin type with this ship, that you can equip it on the existing Intel ships like the Scryer, the Phantom, and the Eclipse, because those all three are their favorites of mine. With I think about the Eclipse is of all of them my favorite. So I'm definitely interested in seeing if once you like I said, unlock this ship, you unlock this particular skin for those ships. That'd be absolutely just mind-blowingly great.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that we can get this skin on other ships because it does look good, and this picture doesn't do it justice. I can't wait to actually see it in person, especially on a cranked up render scale. And of course, like every other legendary ship we've gotten so far, it's going to include all the skins from all previous models, all the consoles, the traits. So you're getting all of these beautiful skins. You're getting 7 skins for this ship. It's the Space Barbie potential for this ship is obscene.
Oh yes, and I think out of all these the 7 skins that are coming available, probably the one that I'm going to fly is that Brigid model, because I think it's
a Science
Miranda / little sister to the Nebula.
To me, it looks like a Pathfinder and a Nebula had a baby.
Yeah, I could see that.
Sorry, Thomas. So again, the customization is going to be insane. 7 skins. You're going to see some really wacky ships out there, and you're going to see some gorgeous ships with this.
And we know a certain friend of ours is going to take the wackiness to an extreme level.
Yes. So again, because you get everything, you're going to get all 6 consoles. So you're going to get the 3-piece from the tier 5s, and you're going to get the 3-piece from the tier 6. Now, the tier 5 consoles are tier 5 consoles. Their click keys are all meh, and they have no passives. So that's the multi-dimensional wave functioning analysis module. The quantum field focus controller. The sympathetic fermion transceiver.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know I probably mispronounced some of them. I don't care. But the key for this, for the tier 5 ones, is the 2-piece, and that gives you the boost to your quantum slipstream. So for your Tour of the Galaxy builds, this is going to be a pretty much must. It puts the base speed to 25, which is actually very good, especially when you look at your normal base speeds, which I don't know what mine are, to be honest, because I usually don't do Tour of the Galaxy unless it's the Endeavor. And you get a big boost to the turn rate, which is actually exceptionally well, and you need that. So you pair this up with the console you get from Delta Flight, yeah, you're going to be able to do donuts in sector space while doing slipstream. And the three pieces, very, very outdated. You know, ramming speed, blah blah blah. They're tier 5 consoles. They're not really good for. They're definitely not good in the high end, and they're really not good in the mid end, in all honesty. But then we get the tier 6 consoles. These aren't bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. So the first one is the Omnidirectional Tachyon Wave siphon. I know you looked at this one, JB, and kind of had a little smirk on your face.
Yeah, because I happen to be a drain enthusiast. I do have a drain build, a very powerful one at that. And yes, it is a niche build. And I do kind of want to get my hands on this particular console because I do want to test it and see what it does for my drain build.
Yeah, when I'm looking at these tool tips, you know, minus shield resistance, all that. Yeah, this on your drain build is going to be... You're going to be definitely borderline war crimes with this on your drain build.
No, we don't talk about war crimes.
Yeah.
They're just the Borg. It's not like they're living.
Okay. And the passives, again, you get a little bit of drain and, yeah, shields. So the next console is the Isometric Dispenser Dispersal Array. Yeah. Passives are actually pretty good. You get the directed energy damage and crit severity. Crit severity is always good, especially on surgical strikes builds. And it's clicky, a little bit of electrical damage all over. Again, this is, to me, this console, I'm going to be definitely using this when I set this ship up. Because I'm going to be doing a surgical strikes control, or I might even go surgical strikes EPG. I'm not sure yet, but this console obviously is going to be boosted by EPG. So, but again, the passives are almost too good to pass up.
Oh yeah, absolutely, especially for a surgical strikes build, like you said, because surgical strikes build relies on crit severity, not crit chance. So 8% crit severity is a pretty large chunk.
Exactly, and especially for a universal console.
Yes.
And then the final console is the Radiation Bombardment Matrix. Passives are okay, 15% EP damage, which, you know, is nothing to snuff at. And 10% flight turn. Flight turn is never a bad thing, because the secret to DPS is your piloting. Now,
this particular console giving it is 15% exotic damage. This is not bad. This is not a bad alternative for a console from, let's say, a lockbox ship or a promo ship you don't have, whose console is, comparable to this. This would be a good budget option if you don't have the more expensive consoles from say, a lockbox ship that has a, knockout console.
Exactly. It's not going to be, you're not going to see this too much on the high end, but you're definitely, for the budget and the value, oh yeah, this is definitely a good one. And the clicky looks interesting. You know, you give a bunch of radiation damage, a little damage resistance debuff. So I think this console might have been overlooked and might have potential on a support build.
Yeah. Considering this does radiation damage, it kind of makes me wonder if those war criminals over on Ryza had anything to plug into this.
Wouldn't surprise me. And then we look at the set powers. The 2-piece, I would say, kind of is worth it. Extra auxiliary power is always a good thing on science builds, especially when you're doing do-sci and you have to do that power balance between aux and weapons. But then, of course, they ruin it by giving you more shields. Why? Anyways, let's bite my tongue for a minute. The 3-piece, you get the 50% reduction speed of all the consoles.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of outdated. Like, we have to remember, the Vestas are an old ship. They came out years ago. So we already have a lot of cooldown reduction and even cooldown reduction for our consoles. So it's kind of not needed. It's redundant. And then this is part of a 4-piece, and the 4-piece, very similar to like the Atlas 4-piece, it just increases all the damage and the effectiveness of the consoles. I never run any of the 4-piece sets because that's way too many consoles.
Yeah, and I'd have to sacrifice way too much on my drainer to get any kind of potential out of that shield drain potency increase from the 4-piece set for this. I'd have to give up way too much of my other drain consoles for this to even work right. And yeah, I got enough shield. I think there's enough shield damage on its own. If it makes it any more powerful, I think it might actually break the game.
Yeah. And also the 4th console comes from the Lucari Science ship, which was the 7th anniversary ship, so not everyone has that. So
AKA the flying Dorito.
Exactly. So again, because not everyone has access to it, again, these 4-piece sets, that's why you don't see them anymore. We haven't seen them. I think this was the last 4-piece, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but
yeah, you might be right.
But we don't see them for a reason, that they know that having a 4-piece is not worth it from a performance standpoint. If you're doing theme builds, by all means do it. Because theme builds, I'll admit, are fun as hell to do.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and because it's legendary, you're going to get the traits from the tier 6 versions. So we're just going to go over these real quick. Again, they are grossly outdated. They have not aged well. The first one comes off of the Palatine, and that is the heavy tachyon mine. Basically, when you're activating any energy weapon enhancements, overload, fire at will, etc., you create a heavy mine. Yeah, it does. It says high kinetic damage, but we all know with a trait one, you're, in my opinion, just going to be wasting a trait slot.
Yeah, it would have to be like a very specific set of circumstances for even that thing to even do good amount of damage.
Next trait off of the Beer Grid version is the charge particle reaction. Basically, when you use charge particle burst, you get a second one.
Not to be the guy, but that's the Bridget.
I told you I can't speak, so whatever. This trait is, I'm sorry, it's trash.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I'll let you pronounce it, Mr. Smartass.
As the Esquiline.
Okay, smartass. Yeah, activating engineering, science, attack teams, you get damage resistance based on your exotic ability. It's an old science shield tanking trait that has probably not been used in years. Don't use it. Just my opinion.
Yeah, just no. The Catam Reconstruction.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about it. Meh.
Yeah.
I mean, for high-end builds, that meh is what applies. Now, for newer players who don't have access to a lot of Starship trades and may have some troubles with survivability because they don't have a lot of the higher-end stuff, okay, I can see this trait being useful for that. And as another friend of ours pointed out in a discussion earlier, this trait may actually be useful in PvP. Contrary to popular belief, PvP is not dead. There's a few people who still do it. And, high hats off to them for doing that because they got more patience than I do.
Exactly. But it's neither one of us are PvP players. It's not our thing. But we do respect the PvP community and a lot of the players, and there's even some of them that we highly respect. because
Yes.
they can do things in PvP very similar to some of the things we can do in PvE. It's just a different skill set. Yes, PvP is not for everyone, but for those who like it, love it. And by all means, if that's your thing, all the power to you.
So let's talk about this trait a little bit. Well, below 50% hull, remove 1 charge of Catam Reconstruction to restore 10% of maximum hull once every 5 seconds. And the tooltip is, while this trait is slotted, activating hazard emitters or any Intel Bridge Officer ability will build up charges, which will enable automated healing while your hull is low. If you have 1 or more charge, 1 will be consumed every few seconds while below 50% max hull in order to immediately restore a percentage of your max hull. So basically, this trait, this is an automatic oh crap button, as we like to call it. Instead of having a console clicky that you have to click every time you're starting to take a little bit of heat, this trait kind of does that for you. Now, like I said, for newer players who don't have access to consoles like DPRM or like some of the high-end heal stuff, yeah, I think this console will benefit them. But for the higher-end players who have access to those consoles, know what combination of gear to use to make sure you don't have the problem, that you can heal fast. No, this trait is absolute garbage for that. And also, for the PvP crowd, I think this is a very good trait for the PvP crowd.
But time will tell. It's once we get our hands on it, we'll be able to give it a thorough test. But I agree with you. This console is just going to be a hard pass for high end for sure. So let's take a quick peek at the stats.
All right.
A hull mod of 0.95, shield mod of 1.4. Again, it's a science ship. What do you expect? Of course, it's going to have a high shield.
Of course.
What I like, it's a 4.2. I love 4.2 ships. I've said it before. So I can think of quite a few things you can do with this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 4.2 is a very versatile. You can do a lot with that if you know if you can do a little bit, foreplanning. I think you can do a lot with that.
Yes, you can. And the seating, I actually like the seating. I know I've seen quite a few people are upset at it, but
it's not bad.
There's worse. I'll just put it that
there's much worse.
So you have Lieutenant Commander Tactical. So you have most of your abilities that you're going to have. Like, yes, you can't get your scatter volleys because this ship can equip cannons, so you can't get your scatter volley 3, but yeah, you can't have everything. Lieutenant Engineering, that's good because you can get your 1 Yukon proc out of it. Ensign Science, Commander Science Intel, and Lieutenant Commander Universal Intel. So you can do a fair bit with this ship.
Oh, absolutely.
Consoles, 4 TAC, 2 Engineering, 5 Science. Not a big deal for us in the high end because most of our consoles are universal, but that is very versatile for newer players.
Now, looking at this ship, just looking at the bridge offer stats and crunching some numbers in my head, I can probably get 7 or 8 uncon blocks off of this.
Yeah, I'm counting 8.
Yeah, that's what I was counting, but I'm going 7 to 8 because I may want to use one of those uncon procs for another ability for other purposes.
Exactly. Turn rate of 12, not bad. Impulse modifier 0.17, inertia 55, again, not bad. 5 weapon power, 5 shield power, 10 aux power.
It's got 3 device slots. That's pretty good.
Oh, I see
but that can be fixed and bump up to 4 plus 1 universal console slot with the T6X upgrade token.
Exactly, and in all honesty, 4 device slots is all you need.
Oh yeah, any more and it gets a little bit out of control. I have a couple of ships with 5 device slots and I have trouble filling it.
Yep. And then, like we already discussed, you get the 6 consoles. This ship, because it is science, you get sensor analysis.
When you remember to activate it?
Yes. Subsystem targeting. Which, don't forget, everyone, subsystem targeting also triggers the competitive impulse engines.
Consider it a firing mode, ladies and gents.
Yes, a lot of people overlook that.
And for a ship that is limited in tax seating, like for my drainer, I rely on the subsystem targeting to knock subsystems offline.
Yep.
So it's for science ships, that's a very handy system to use. I'd highly recommend it. It's good. You can knock shields offline, you can knock weapons offline, you can knock auxiliary systems offline. So yeah, it's definitely worth using.
You also get the secondary deflector slot, which is always good for science ships. It can equip the dual cannons. Comes pre-equipped with an auxiliary phaser cannon. Has a cloaking device, because it is a full intel ship, of course. It also has a hangar bay, and they decided to give it runabouts. Why they did that, who knows?
Well, that's because when the original Vesta come out, it too had a hangar bay, and it came equipped with the Danube runabouts. So that's why they're doing it. It's they're just upgrading it to the current standards, but they're still giving it the same hangar pet that it's always had stock.
Okay. I did not know that because I don't own any Vistas. So
I have one of the original T5 Vestas, and it did come with Danube runabout, so that's why that's there.
Cool. See, that's why I'm looking forward to this bundle so much, because I don't have any of these ships. So, and because it's a full intel, it also has the warp signature masking. Yeah. And it has the gather intelligence, which has recently gotten a buff, so it kind of does work, but it's still.
And it works quite well. I've seen some nice system offlines pop up from that. Exposed vulnerability critical systems. I've seen a lot of offlines pop up from that.
Nice. I still think it needs a little more tweaking, but I'm still happy with how it is, especially compared to how it used to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And because it's a science ship, we get the crappy science mastery. So,
well, it could be better, but it is what it is.
Exactly. Extra exotic damage, you can never say no to that. And then, yeah, shields. So that is the brand new Captain Bundle for the Starfleet 2409 players. So what are your final thoughts, JB?
Okay, final thoughts. Are you getting what you're paying for? I think you are getting what you're paying for this. I mean, could it have been priced differently? Probably. But considering everything you're getting with this, including the hollow bridge officers that are fully trained, you're also getting 7 ship skins, all the consoles from the complete Vesta line, as well as some other goodies. For the price, I think you are getting what you were paying for.
The sale price, that is.
The sale price. Now, outside of the sale price, that's a bit much. I wouldn't pay this for this full price. I'd wait for a sale before I got this.
Exactly. Is it worth 12,000 Zen, $120? Absolutely not.
Oh, no.
Is it worth the 6,000 Zen or $60? Yes.
So I would definitely recommend, if you're a newer player and you want to get your feet wet, you want to get your first major big ship bundle, this is the one to get, because you're getting a lot for your money. Yeah, but the value, I think you're getting a lot for your value here.
Yep.
And like I said, it has flaws. And hopefully maybe down the road, maybe it'll change. But we really can't tell. We're not the decision makers here. Like the old phrase goes, don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly. Yeah, we're just passing on information and giving our opinions at the same time. I do think this is a bundle worth picking up, especially, as JB said, if you're a newer player, this is definitely aimed at you.
Yes.
High-end players, there's absolutely nothing in here that is going to be worth it for the high-end.
Well,
other than the Space Barbie.
There we go. And Ground Barbie.
Yes, and Ground Barbie, because as we all know, the true end game is Space Barbie. And
absolutely.
Ground Barbie.
Oh, yeah.
So, bundle goes on sale on the 26th, so just over a week from time of recording, and it'll be on sale until June 9th. And for you console players out there, you will be getting this, as it states right now in the blog, on June 16th, and you will also get the half-off sale as well. So thank you everyone for listening and watching. I hope our opinions came across pretty good, and I hope we gave you the information to make the decisions for you. Please do all those normal YouTube things, you know, comment, like, and subscribe. They really help the channel out. I know you don't like hearing it just as much as I don't like saying it, but we all know how that algorithm is.
All too well.
And if you guys are not subscribed to JB on YouTube, what is wrong with you? Go over and make sure you hit that sub button on his YouTube channel. The link will be below. Smash it like it owes you money. So thank you for joining me, JB. It was a pleasure to have you.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
And we'll definitely do this again. So until the next video, everyone, I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye. Bye.
We are God.